I'm Joey.T.Cartoon.P, and you're watching the Cartoon Palooza. Now that we're in the beginning of September, I look around and I notice all the beauty of fall.
The autumn leaves have yet to fall, and I notice all the families taking their kids to the park or going to the beach of what's left of some neat weather.
I only bring this up because this summer has been a complete waste.
The weather was insane, I got stuck indoors paying bills up the wazoo.
And to top this cluttermuck of a mess, I get duped into watching the third live-action Fairly Odd Parents movie.
Yes, folks, you heard that right. This is the third movie in a series of live-action Fairly Odd Parents movies. And seeing how the first two managed to consistently suck while still producing more movies, chances are this ain't gonna be the last one. Up to a point where I think I might just stop reviewing these movies if that just so happens. How I've come to that point, I'll show you.
This is where we come full circle, folks. This is where I review A Fairly Odd Summer.
Our movie begins with what appears to be a dream sequence. Timmy Turner rips off Indiana Jones and runs out of a burning volcano. I say seems like it, since it's hard to tell what the line is between dream and reality. It's clear that with the aid of his fairy godparents, Timmy could just be as much running through a volcano as he could be fighting pirates or going to the moon. This is also added to the fact that the cinematography is so similar throughout the movie, whereas it gives no sense of dreamlike wonder. It could just easily be happening in reality, as it is a dream just by looking at it.
Timmy Turner, you did it again!
This is a dream as we see Timmy Turner work at a summer job in Fairy World. And no. Oh no. No. What the hell is this? This isn't a convincing set. This is the high school remake of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Nothing makes me believe that this is the live-action counterpart to Fairy World. This brings us to one of the biggest problems in the film, which are how the effects seem to cheapen in the film compared to the last. Even the fairies seem less like something Butch Hartman would design and more like a leftover from another project. But I guess it came to a point where Butch and crew just said, screw it! Parents are gonna get the DVDs for the kids and it doesn't matter if we miss a render or two. But back to the story. If you thought the plot conveniences in the Amazing Spider-Man movies were frustrating,
It's all Oscorp!
we witness every character essential to Timmy's life going to Hawaii, which seems to be the only place in the world where people go on vacation. Oh, and Kiddyland, one of which is his girlfriend Tootie, who I guess the producers went back to making her a respected marine biologist versus the vapid dunce she played in the Christmas special. So, I guess that's cool. But what isn't is the scientist she works for.
Oh, well, of course. How could I forget Professor Butter...
Farts. Butter farts.
What's your name?
Get it? His name sounds like farts. Ah!
Oh, and they don't just remind you once. They beat this joke dead as Bambi's mom if Bambi were remade into an exploitation film directed by Eli Roth.
Thanks to Professor Butterfart's output, guess what Professor Butterfart's created out of thin air? Gas! A gas that'll cure the whole species!
I have chosen you to pass my gas. Go with the wind.
You know, for every stupid thing this movie throws at me, the only reasonable thing I'm gonna do is blame Dinkleberg.
Dinkleberg.
It only makes sense.
Timmy's summer job involves watching over the magical MacGuffin that's supposed to harness all the magic of the fairies. Personally, it seems like it was created for this film and never mentioned on the show. This is because Jorgen is going on his vacation in... don't need to take a guess, it's Hawaii.
Dinkleberg.
However, when Timmy realizes that both his girlfriend and his dad left important items they need for their trips, he decides to leave his post, and once again put the magic of every fairy at risk. I don't even blame him at this point, I blame Jorgen for not learning that Timmy's judgment's as good as a kumquat. Hell, he even leaves his giant wand with Timmy, leaving him vulnerable in case anything bad happens.
Dinkleberg.
So in a vulnerable state, the power of all the fairies' magic is put at risk at the hands of an anti-fairy version of Poof. Now, I don't think having anti-fairies in this movie is a bad call. However, the way they're introduced in this film would give no idea to newcomers who these characters are. It isn't until a quarter into the film that Crocker addresses what anti-fairies are, which are the evil doppelgangers of fairies. But the biggest question I have is, why Poof's anti-fairy? Wouldn't it have been more appropriate to have Anti-Cosmo as the villain? Poof is pointless as it is, and Anti-Cosmo was always scheming on the show. It's like if there was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie where the Foot Clan is not led by the Shredder, and instead led by his daughter. Alright, but my point still stands. It makes even more confusing that they don't even mention what happened to Anti-Cosmo. Sure, all the anti-fairies are in his castle, but not a single mention of him. Outside of him already making a good villain, I love that guy.
If I don't make it, stay away from my wife. And if I do make it, take mine.
So Foop needs help getting the rock since he can't touch it or it would destroy him. Therefore, he meets with Denzel Crocker, also going to Hawaii, and schemes their plot to take the stone. So how did Crocker end up in this movie? Well, apparently his mom enlisted him to join a self-help conference with a bunch of nincompoops, including the show's creator, Butch Hartman.
See that flying pink elephant over there?
No.
It's smiling at me. But I'm not gonna loan it any more money.
Okay.
Suddenly, this is all being put into perspective.
Loan it money. It'll only break your heart, then try and move into your guest room.
Go home, Butch. You're drunk. Please. Go home. So while Timmy's in Hawaii, Crocker and Foop scheme to take the stone away from him, which he brought on a trip leaving all the magic to be backed up with Jorgen's wand. Again, thank you, Jorgen.
Dinkleberg.
Hell, we even get to see the live-action counterpart to Foop. And since we have B-list celebrities like Cheryl Hines and Jason Alexander to play the fairies, who do we get this time? Hey, look, it's Scott Baio. Remember him? Bugsy Malone? The movie when he was a kid? Along with Jodie Foster? And other roles I had to look up on IMDb? Nobody? Okay. So in essence, what we have here as far as the movie goes isn't the worst I've seen by comparison to the other movies. Despite the cheapened effects and heavier overacting mostly from Timmy's parents and Vicky the babysitter, this is pretty much on par with the other films. So hopefully, this movie shouldn't be any worse and I can walk away scot-free.
The last 15 minutes of this movie.
The ending to this film is so terrible, so magnificently mind-boggling and agonizingly stupid that it actually breaks everything this movie had going for it. By the slim chance that I would have took this for nothing more than the last two movies, just wait. You're in for something magical. So Crocker and Foop go to the volcano along with the magical MacGuffin, mainly because its lava is apparently hot enough to melt it. Tootie, along with some kids being babysat by Vicky and others are trapped, and it's up to Timmy to save them. But, along the way, some unexplained phenomenon where the magic of the stone makes Crocker become a good guy and want to work with Timmy? This is despite the fact that we already had Crocker making up with Timmy in the last film.
No. Forget it. That's low fruit I'm picking at. That's not what I'm talking about.
Timmy saves his friends, and Foop is ready to dispose of the MacGuffin. Now, if you've seen the last two films or any of the cartoons, you know that Timmy should find some contrived way of coming out unscathed, to join his friends and live happily ever after.
And then I'd complain that would be contrived, and then just move on. But no. Still low fruit I'm picking at. Here's that magical moment I was referring to. Are you ready? 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 Let's watch it.
Yes. Yes. Oh God. Oh God, it happened. The dumbest ending in all the years this show has been on television. Timmy Turner falls into a pit of lava, comes back as his 10-year-old self to become the fairy godparents to the kids we just met in this film.
Okay. Get a pen and paper ready, kids, because I'm going to point out everything wrong with this scene.
First of all, The stone was supposed to melt, and yet it comes out of the lava unharmed. Yeah, it's minor compared to the elephant in the room, but still. It was constantly brought up in the film that the lava would be strong enough to destroy the rock, and yet it doesn't. That's just lazy writing. Second, I do want to bring up that, as crazy as this sounds, I wouldn't mind if they ended the series with Timmy getting powers of his own. Hell, I think it's kinda neat that they got Tara Strong to reprise her iconic role. Also, it's nothing too surprising to see Timmy become a fairy when there was an episode or two where it did happen. On top of this, they were setting it up like the kids in this film would get fairy godparents, since the way their parents introduced them to Vicky is practically a shot-by-shot remake of the Oh Yeah Cartoons pilot when Timmy got his godparents. But here's the thing, why go back to his 10-year-old self? Is this supposed to be a nudge to the fans? The fans that disowned the series just by the sheer mention of Drake Bell as Timmy Turner? And yeah, don't you think it would be a little bothersome that Timmy may still have lustful incentives with his girlfriend despite not having the body of a grown man anymore? Third, either way you look at it, but Timmy Turner died. Yeah, they say some bullcrap that he absorbed the power of the stone, but that don't cut it. Lava plus flesh and blood equal burning death. And it's made even creepier when he comes out not in his live action form, but as a younger, spiritual form, pretty much indicating that he's not of this world anymore. He's gone to a better world, or should I say, fairy world. And don't get me started with the way Tootie reacts to this. She acts like she lost a favorite sandal. Your boyfriend died and moved to an astral form. Act like it matters. Finally, the one thing that annoys me about this, and the fact that they got Foop in this movie instead of Anti-Cosmo, is that this is supposed to be in relation to the cartoon. This is supposed to be the future of these characters from the cartoon I grew up with. Yeah, the heartwarming ending to Channel Chasers? Screw it. Timmy dying, becoming a 10-year-old again, and nobody giving a crap? That's what we have to look forward to.
And no, I'm not going to make it seem like I'm the biggest fan of this show, but I grew up watching the show at its peak, so I'm fairly accustomed to these characters. And knowing that this is what they were aiming for at the very end, that this is how they're going to wrap things up? Are you kidding me? A show that I've watched, like, from the very beginning end like this? That's just depressing.
And fantastic how you can screw up in just a few minutes for a show that's lasted longer than 10 years.
Like I said, I'm through. They make another one of these crappy movies, I ain't watching it. There are only so many times that you watch Seltzerberg movies before Meet the Spartans or Vampire movie comes out that you just don't give a crap anymore.
So, if they do make another movie, don't expect a review from me. Go to the other cartoon critics like Y-Boy, the Mysterious Mr. Enter, the Cartoon Hero. I'm out for the count. Besides the soul-crushing ending, what more can I say that's already been said from the other reviews? I'm gonna sound like a broken record, bringing up the stuff I already mentioned before. There's no reason to have a show that in its concept was always a cartoon to be made into live action. Yes, a few silly overacting performances from Timmy's dad and Jorgen do not forgive me of the off-putting, despicable, and unnecessary work this movie has given me. I'm practically done with these films. I'm gonna give it my rating, and move on.
As far as my question goes, it's something I've been legitimately thinking about as far as Nickelodeon's creative decisions have been going. You know, with them moving Korra onto the website and having SpongeBob go into its, 75th season. It just makes you wonder, where did Nickelodeon go wrong? And is there a chance for redemption? Because, quite honestly, Nickelodeon represented creator-driven content, not compromising for any statistics or demographics or fan bases. Creators made what they wanted to make because they found it entertaining. And now we come to a point like this? This? It's just sad. I want to see Nickelodeon come back. I want it to go back to its glory days of giving the creator what they want. Instead of this. Let me know what you think. I'm Joey.T.Cartoon.P and, screw you, Dinkleberg.
Dinkleberg.